I'm Ali Zendrian, founder of AtoZ Communications, and this is the Brand Stories podcast. This is where we discuss everything from marketing, public relations, and anything branding related. This week, we have AcquireUp's CMO, Janis. We discuss seminar marketing and how that's the path to creating human connection at scale. I'm super excited to have you on the podcast today.
Happy to be here.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure getting to know AcquireUp and appreciate all that you guys are doing in seminar marketing. I'm looking forward to delving into that. But first question is, what is your favorite brand and why?
Yeah, I've got a lot of favorite brands, and some of them are the iconic ones that you've heard of. The one that I selected to kind of share today is one that has stuck around with me for quite a while. It's Patagonia, and the reason why I love Patagonia is really it comes down to their brand ethos and what they stand for, their mission. And they're very outspoken when it comes to sustainability, when it comes to our public lands, both things that are very important to me, and more so than them just saying it in ad campaigns, they show it in their actions as well, mostly through their Collective Threads initiative. So that is where they ensure that if you're a Patagonia customer, you can get your Patagonia gear renewed or refreshed without having to buy something new. They really promote, fixing what you have and wearing it until you can't or using it until and then the second one that I just loved when it came to the public lands and sustainability was their Black Friday campaigns, or kind of the lack thereof. They took out an ad in the Wall Street Journal a few years ago where it was a full page ad basically saying, don't buy our products, reuse them, referring back to the Collective Threads initiative that they have, as well as they really promote or don't promote on Black Friday like a lot of other retailers do, to back up that ethos of spend less money with us instead of buying new things, reuse what you have, that sort of thing. So I just really like that. And not to mention that they also create really, really good products that last a long time. I just love them.
Absolutely. So it's interesting. You were referencing Patagonia. It seems like you guys are similarly all about seminar marketing and really trying to provide that holistic experience for your clients. So how would you explain the strengths of seminar marketing and why it's something that just works so well?
So seminar marketing in and of itself is thriving today because it solves two main problems for advisors. It's about credibility and it's about scale. One of the things that advisors are up against today is digital noise. Oftentimes they are having to compete against a robot or AI. And what's really funny is despite the increased usage among consumers and investors of AI and technology, a lot of times they're coming back to our very human advisors and AcquireUp's clients and asking them for validation on the recommendations from those robo-advisors or from ChatGPT. So humans appreciate humans, and especially when it comes to finances and money, advisors are really well placed to continue being that source of credibility when it comes to somebody's financial future, particularly into retirement. The second problem that seminars are solving is scale. It's really, really hard as a business owner, and many of AcquireUp's clients, as well as your listeners, Ali, are financial advisors who own their own businesses. Whether they're a solo practitioner or they have a small team or even a growing team, they're still business owners, and they're always looking for marketing activities and growth vectors that scale. And seminars are that. We can show that for every dollar you're putting into seminar marketing, you're getting a fantastic ROI on that money. And there's very few marketing activities that have such a focused and provable ROI, especially when it comes to things like buying leads, for example. A lot of advisors feel like they put money towards leads and they don't know what sort of quality they're getting. But with seminar marketing, and especially the way that AcquireUp goes about seminar marketing, where we are data first, we are technology driven, where we can use precision targeting on your audience to say, hey, if you do a seminar on Social Security or estate planning and you're looking for a specific type of person to be in that seminar, we can target those folks at a household level. We can get the butts and seats that will drive value for you and your business and prove an ROI on the other end as you get them into your office and convert them into clients and of course assets under management at that point. And then lastly, one of the things that seminar marketing really does from a credibility standpoint is it positions the advisor, the seminar host, if you will, as the trusted source at the front of the classroom that's providing educational content, providing educational value and insights that is very hard oftentimes to distill otherwise than in a classroom setting.
Yes. I love what you were saying, especially that last point and speaking about credibility, because you're right. Seeing a person moves you along the know, like, trust scale so much faster than reading something, otherwise experiencing them. So absolutely.
100%. Yeah. And I don't know about your use of AI or the advancing technologies, but oftentimes it can feel kind of impersonal where, you put in a prompt, you sort of get an initial answer, but as you dig deeper, you're finding that it doesn't have quite the right context or quite the right scenario that you're really looking for. And what's great about being in a classroom setting from a seminar perspective, and this works for meal-based as well. So it's not just, your educational seminars, but it can be your meal-based seminars as well. But it's being able to ask questions in context, in conversation, and have that immediate feedback from someone who's been there, done that a million times in our advisors who are hosting these seminars. They are able to, in the moment, on the fly, and very personally answer the questions that a seminar attendee may be seeking.
Seminars, though, seem like one of those things you can't necessarily just wing it and then right out of the bat score whatever it was that you were hoping to get. So what are those steps that you need to take to have a successful seminar?
I think that there's three things that really make a successful seminar. It's having the right people in the room. It's having the experience and the expertise to share what's needing to be shared in the seminar, coming off as that expert. And then lastly, it's the follow through. And oftentimes it's the follow through where advisors end up struggling when it comes to seminar marketing, and it's not the seminars themselves. And so we do a lot of coaching on the back end for how to properly follow up. So diving into each of those things, the right people in the room. This is what I was talking about before, where AcquireUp really shines, is in that upfront targeting. It's in the data that we have, both proprietary data as well as third-party data that we pull into our technology. We have a platform called LeadJig that runs all of our seminars, where as an advisor, you're able to go in, you're able to select the types of people you want in the seminar from a geography basis, from a household income basis, even from a demographic basis, of saying, I want folks between 55 and 65 with a net worth or household net worth of 2 million plus that live within this geography. And we're able to then deliver messaging and advertising to those individual households that have been identified and make sure that they're the ones that are sitting in the seats and not just some random consumer who isn't really going to convert into a client for you or meet your client criteria. So it's about getting the right people in the room up front. From there, it's about showing up and putting your experience and expertise on display as that educator. And seminars are not sale pitch, they're education first. And that's true for meal-based as well. You may be paying for somebody's meal to get them in the seat, and you're in a restaurant or something like that, but it's still about education. And advisors need to deliver that content clearly. They need to be relevant and they need to be confident. And if they do those things when they're up in front of the audience and going through their seminar presentation, that's where they're going to come off as the expert. They're going to come off as the go-to source for whatever it is that each individual audience member is seeking. And that's key to remember as well as in being an expert, is that, there may be a common theme in estate planning, taxes and retirement, Social Security, whatever the theme of the seminar is. All those people have that in common, but each one has an individual reason why they're there. And a lot of times they're not overlapping. And so to have that time in person up in front of them, you're able to diagnose their concerns, answer their concerns, and then place yourself as the expert in their lives that can help them through what they need, and obviously with the goal of converting them as a client and increasing your AUM. And then, as I mentioned before, this all sort of falls apart if you don't have the follow through. So even as the event or the seminar itself is closing, that's not the end. It's really the opening to the relationship with those individual attendees, and that needs to carry over into the how you book the first meeting. I mean, we do a lot of coaching there as well for our clients of how do you convert an attendee into that first meeting, but then it even goes into the first meeting itself. It's what you're discussing. It's using the LeadJig consumer profiles that are built for each individual attendee to understand, okay, This is what's going to be relevant to them. This is how I can approach my first conversation with them to ensure that I'm giving them relevant information up front to eventually convert them into a client. And you can do that through technology. You can do that through hands-on conversation. You can do that through team members. There's myriad ways that you can do follow appropriately and effectively, but you have to have a process in place to ensure that you can convert them on the other side. And when you combine all those three things together, the right audience, deliver your expertise and experience in the seminar, and then have the appropriate follow-up, that's where you're going to realize the greatest ROI in your marketing and of course, specifically seminar marketing.
Yeah. About the follow-up, so what should advisors expect? Should they be thinking, if I leave the seminar and I haven't booked any follow-ups, I failed? Are a lot of them done after the fact and there's a certain window of time that they should sort of calibrate and say, obviously it takes a few weeks? How do you set expectations there?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So your most successful seminars are going to have bookings come out of that. So one of the things that we really coach and teach to help with the conversion into those first meetings is to have post-it notes in the back with times and dates on them. And folks can go and take those post-it notes, and that's them scheduling a meeting with you. And that's just a low friction way to get somebody on the books. Now, if you're leaving a seminar and you have not converted anybody at that point in time into a meeting or have something scheduled, that's tough. It doesn't happen very often, but if it does happen, then that's where having the right system in place to follow up with those individuals, to nurture them, to reach back out, start conversations again, follow up with them. That's where having that standard operating procedure in place is going to really shine for you. Even if you have folks who book first meetings at the seminar, having that process in place will also really impact the success of the seminar and then the follow-up as well. And so it's about making sure you're laying the right foundation, having the right follow-up, having the right sequences, if you will, to ensure that you're staying top of mind. And then, of course, having those future conversations with those individuals.
I love the concept of the post-it notes. So whoever came up with that is brilliant, because even at the very least, you start feeling the FOMO of, oh my goodness, am I going to be the one left out? I don't want to be the one pulling the last post-it. I got to get in there. So
well, 100%. And that's what we've heard from advisors as well, is that sometimes it's the hardest part is getting the first person to take one. And then once somebody takes one, then everyone else feels like they have permission to get up and go do it as well. And so as long as you can get that first person to do it, usually you see a snowball from there.
Absolutely. So where do you feel like seminars are going to be going in the next 5 years or so? We're at this influx of, like you said, there's so much AI coming into the market, but at the same time, that's almost becoming the thing that we want to tune out because we all just crave human connection. Where do you feel like seminar marketing is going to fit?
Yeah, so I touched on this a little bit in a previous question, but for me, the future of seminar marketing is really leaning into the one thing that digital experiences and channels can't replicate, and that's human connection. Seminars work because people like looking someone in the eye. They like being present with an expert, someone who they see can help them, not only help them, but help them in the right ways and that they're building trust with. And that's going to be really, really hard for digital channels, including artificial intelligence, to replicate. And I think that finances and money are so personal to each and every one of us that it's going to be hard to completely lean on digital technology for that. So I think the human connection there is going to be key for the future of seminars. But that being said, it's going to need to be human connection that continues to be augmented and implemented by technology. So again, the world is only going to get noisier digitally. It's only going to become more automated. Folks are going to become more trustful as well as experienced with, and the human connection piece will be the key that brings them back to human advisors. But the advisors themselves need to be comfortable with this technology, and they need to leverage that technology to make their seminars more relevant. At AcquireUp, we're delivering the future today, so to say, in our Legic platform and the way that we are able to gather and collect consumer data, pull that in as insights and portfolios for advisors to understand who's sitting in their seminars, who they're inviting to their seminars, as well as what's the best way to convert those folks. And then on the back end, they're also able to leverage that technology to understand, okay, how effective are my seminars from the get-go? Am I reaching the right people? How many folks are registering? What types of folks are registering? And then we even have technology on the follow-through in our Nurture and Engage product where they can have automated sequences to follow up. They can have timely FINRA reviewed content that goes out to those folks who they're nurturing, as well as their clients that they have already under management, but ensuring that they're staying top of mind and nurturing their relationships with their current clients as well. To wrap that all up into a simple a summary here for you, it's leveraging the increasingly fantastic technology that exists that can make all of our lives better, but leaning into and over-indexing on the human connection, on ensuring that when you connect one-on-one in person with somebody through a seminar, that is the basically leveraging that moment as the reason for them to continue coming back and speaking with you, and ensuring that they feel that human touch.
Yeah. I mean, that seems to be providing the human at scale, like you were talking about. So absolutely. What would you say to any advisor who says, I never took public speaking in high school or college. I don't feel very good standing up in a room. How do you kind of coach someone to say you might not think that you're quite as bad as you think you are?
Yeah. So, I mean, we all have different experiences public speaking and presenting. And we've had many successful clients who begin there and are unsure about how they sort of go in and present. But that being said, the way that you can be successful is through preparation and then trial and error. We can coach you at the very beginning to say, hey, this is what a successful seminar looks like. This is how you'll want to structure your presentation. Here's how you'll want to go through. We've got great partners as well who can give live coaching, live analysis, even help you build your presentation. And so you have all the pieces there up front to be successful and have best practices, but where the rubber really meets the road, so to say, in this is in doing. And your first one or two, maybe 3 seminars might be a little bit awkward, might be a struggle. You're getting your footing, but the more you do it, the more you put yourself out there and the more you practice, the better it's going to get.
Absolutely. So you guys have an annual event that's coming up that recently you rebranded. So if you don't mind explaining what that is and who should be attending this.
Yes, historically, we've had an event called Host University. It originated, probably 8 or 9 years ago. I think the events happened 13 times in that time. And over the last year, we've evaluated that event to really hone what the mission is of that event. And it comes down to wanting to provide a heavy focus on the educational mission of what was Host University. It's now called Masterclass by AcquireUp, and we rebranded that to put the emphasis on the education. And the goal of the event is that whether you're a seasoned advisor who's done a ton of seminars or a brand new to seminar advisor, then you're not sure if you want to dip your toes in, we are providing 3 days of content that allow you to become the best seminar host that you can be. So it's everything from the branding of your business and how you show up online when somebody researches you, to how to structure a seminar, to how to present, how to plan your seminar marketing calendar, to how to track your ROI. These are all things that are brought forward in the event or during the event to help you leverage a seminar marketing to grow your business. This next iteration is happening February 25th through 27th next year at the Opal Soul Resort, in Clearwater Beach, Florida. It's a beautiful resort. We all get together and it's 3 days where we've got experts coming in on stage, sharing content, sharing best practices, sharing data on how you can grow your business. And it's really a blast. And we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. It sounds like you could go in knowing next to nothing really and walk out a rock star.
Oh, 100%. We hear from past event attendees constantly saying, oh, hey, when I left, I felt super motivated. I put X, Y, and Z into practice, and it's made all the difference in not only my seminar marketing for the year, but also the growth of my business as well. And those are the stories that really drive us forward and make us excited to do the event every year.
Of course. And you guys have had some fabulous success stories. Even the recent webinar that you guys had with a client who had done so well, it just seems like you really set everybody up to succeed. And because seminar marketing is as powerful as it is, it just does very well for advisors.
Absolutely, and it's those success stories that we pin up on the wall, we put on our website, we create case studies out of because they are so powerful. And what's exciting is that they're not just one-off success stories. They're success stories that we see time and time again, and that honestly, almost every advisor who comes in seriously to look at seminar marketing, puts it into practice, goes through the coaching, and puts the investment in, they see success from it almost immediately.
That's amazing. Well, thank
Yeah,
you so much for sharing all of your insights and
happy to be
continued.
here with you.
Thank you. Continued success to you guys and looking forward to hearing all about the conference after the fact.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Ali.